Roman Holiday seems like innocent fun, but adults see something much darker. When Princess and gets drugged by her doctor, she can't think straight or protect herself. Joe finds her helpless and takes her to his apartment. What happened during those missing hours? The film never tells us, but the cleaning lady's shocked face the next morning says everything. In 1953, audiences thought this was romantic. Today it looks like something else entirely. The movie hides a disturbing truth that changes everything about this beloved classic. William Wyler was already considered one of Hollywood's most accomplished directors when he began working on Roman Holiday in 1951. He had not made a comedy in 20 years, but his reputation was unmatched. By then he held the record for directing 36 Oscar-nominated performances with 14 wins. He had already won 3 Academy Awards for Ben-Hur in 1959, The Best Years of Our Lives in 1946, and Mrs. Minver in 1942. At this point in his career, Wyler was at the very top of his game, and Roman Holiday was seen as both a bold choice and a personal challenge. Behind the scenes, one of the most shocking secrets in Hollywood was unfolding. Dalton Trumbo, a talented writer who had been blacklisted for his ties to the Communist Party, was the actual screenwriter of Roman Holiday. Trumbo was one of the Hollywood 10 who refused to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee in 1947 because he was banned from working openly. The screenplay was credited to Ian Llewellyn Hunter, who acted as a front for him during the height of the blacklist. When the film won the Academy Award for Best Story in 1954, it was Hunter who stepped on stage to accept the Oscar. Even though the words had been written by Trumbo, he continued to work secretly throughout the 1950s, often under pseudonyms or through other writers' names. Audrey Hepburn's journey into Roman Holiday began with a screen test at Pinewood Studios in London on September 18, 1951. It was directed by Thorold Dickinson, who later recalled that they filmed some scenes from the script before turning the camera on her for a personal interview. Paramount wanted to see not just her acting but who she really was. 1,000 feet of film were loaded into the camera for what became a deeply personal conversation. Hepburn spoke about her childhood during the war, including the Allied raid on Arnhem and the time she spent hiding in a cellar. She also described the health problems she suffered by the end of the war, including malnutrition, anemia, respiratory illness, and edema. When William Wyler later viewed the footage in Rome, he immediately declared that she had everything he was looking for. He praised her charm, innocence, humor, and natural talent, saying she was absolutely enchanting. What could have been an ordinary audition instead revealed a young woman whose honesty and vulnerability made her unforgettable. Gregory Peck also made a choice that would change the film's legacy. His contract gave him solo top billing in the credits, which was standard for a star of his status. He already had 18 films and 4 Oscar nominations to his name, while Hepburn had only appeared in a handful of small roles. Yet soon after filming began, Peck called his agent and insisted that Hepburn receive equal above the title billing. His agent argued that he had worked for years to earn that position, but Peck replied that if he did not share it, he would look foolish. He predicted that Hepburn would win the Oscar in her very first performance, and he was right. Hepburn went on to win the Academy Award for Best Actress, while Roman Holiday became a commercial success. It finished 22nd at the box office in 1953 and earned around $10 million worldwide. The film's release itself was remarkable, cost $1.5 million to make, and went on to earn about $12 million worldwide. When it opened at Radio City Music Hall in New York City on August 27, 1953, it grossed $165,000 in its first week alone. By September It was the second most popular film in the United States, behind only From Here to Eternity, and had grossed nearly $1 million that month. Domestic earnings eventually reached $5 million, with $3 million of that coming in the first few months. The international market proved even stronger, bringing in $12 million. Overseas, in the United Kingdom, the timing was especially fortunate, as the romance between Princess Margaret and commoner Peter Townsend made headlines. Critics noted that no studio could have purchased publicity as effective as that real-life royal love story. Yet even amid its success, the content of the movie faced challenges. Around the 8th minute, Princess Anne, played by Audrey Hepburn, becomes upset about her strict royal duties. She is given warm milk and crackers. But when she grows more distressed, the court doctor ignores her protests. He tells her she just has nerves and gives her a sedative without asking for her consent. Only 6 years earlier, in 1947, the Nuremberg Code had made it clear that medical procedures required voluntary consent. By 1953, doctors were already expected to follow that rule. Yet the film presents this as normal royal protocol. The doctor's decision reflects a disturbing pattern of that era, where women's concerns were often brushed aside as hysteria or emotional weakness, while doctors claimed to know best. The effects of the sedative quickly take hold. After sneaking out of the embassy in a supply truck and struggles to stay awake, by the time she reaches the Piazza della Repubblica, her condition is serious. When American reporter Joe Bradley finds her asleep near the Roman Forum, she shows every sign of being dangerously impaired. Her speech is slurred. She cannot think clearly, and she is unable to explain where she lives or recognize the risks around her. Medical reports from the 1950s confirm that sedatives of the time, likely barbiturates or early benzodiazepines, could leave a person severely impaired for 8 to 12 hours. Anne's inability to stay awake long enough to give directions to a taxi driver or communicate clearly matches the known side effects.